Has modern music definitively gotten worse, or am I just getting old?
Why is modern music so bad?
Today's popular music, well, sucks.
Popular music is in decline.
Music has basically become valueless.
All new music is bad? Since I started this channel a little over 2 years ago, I've become increasingly interested in individuals' relationship with music. Now, almost every day in my life I talk to different people about music, and it is remarkable how none of them have the same relationship as one another. So, here are some examples, and let me know if you know any of these people, okay? So we got some classics here, okay? We got someone that only listens to music for the beat. Yep, we have someone who has a Led Zeppelin tattoo who, to this day, has never heard Fool in the Rain. Okay. We got someone who will unironically show you hit song Glock in My Purse, and then you'll show them History Lesson Part 2 by the Minutemen, and that's right, Wild Horses by Prefab Sprout, and they like it so much that it gets put into hit Spotify playlist Maximilian II Emanuel Elector of Bavaria. Now, these are very specific characterizations of people, some more specific than others, but I am none of these people. I am someone who has claimed that all new music is bad. So, as is fitting for a topic such as this is not your average video. This is a concept video, a double video, if you will, that will look over recent changes in the musical landscape and examine why so many people, including myself, have thought or do think that all new music is bad.
Out here in the new studio we just bought, about to release our new single, Original by New Sinclair, and of course Mr. Dr. Mitch Simmons.
Now, what's something really cool about this subject is that it should be inherently absurd. I mean, I'm supposed to believe that in a time where it is easier than ever to create music and share music, that all of a sudden, every single thing being released is now bad. Yup, that's exactly what I thought. I guess the best place to start with this is to look at some common arguments for why certain people believe that all new music is bad. Now, you don't even really need to do that much research into why people would think that all new music is bad, simply because it has been an argument that has been around for as long as I can remember. You get arguments such as, it's all just noise, there's an overabundance of music, and therefore music has become more derivative or less original. Music has become less complicated. But again, they just don't really work. I'm sure that the argument that it's all just noise is very commonly associated with older generations describing new music. But I mean, White Light, White Heat, 1968, you're going to tell me that that is less just noise than anything in the top 10 today? The overabundance argument I completely understand from a percentage basis. It only stands to reason that the ease of making music, along with the fact that there just is more music, that the percentage of bad music has increased, sure, completely get that. But it doesn't mean that all new music is bad. And the same sort of applies to the idea that new music is less complicated. There are plenty of people that make the argument that there are less sophisticated chord changes or progressions in music today, but you can go back to the Velvet Underground. Heroin is a song that is considered to be a remarkable artistic achievement in music, and it uses 2 chords throughout the entire song. But that isn't the point of this video. The point of this video is to help the past me and anyone else who, like past me, genuinely believed that despite the fact that it doesn't logically make sense that all new music is bad, every single thing that I keep hearing that has been produced in recent history is just terrible. So now, let's look at social media. The one substantial change that has happened in recent history that has completely changed the way people consume music. Yep, so here you got your average TikTok video, which I'll leave up for all of you tender perverts out there. Oh, and look, there's a song in the video. Didn't even notice that. Let's take a look at this. Yeah, I bet no one ever even listens to this, because we all know why they're watching the video. And 110 million plays on Spotify alone. Very cool. I've been once again proven mentally insane. Okay, now let's take a quick pause here. Did you see it? Not only does the song have 110 million plays, but since recording this video, and now I'm editing it, yeah, that's right, it's gotten another million plays. Thank you. I don't like social media. Do you care? No. You got the TikTok dance, which, yep, pretty sure no one's going to argue that that is the optimal way of consuming music, but we got more options as well. We got the Spotify algorithms, or algorithms in general, that are going to compile a list of songs that you're going to like. And are you going to like them? I don't know. And then you got one of my favorites, which is a genre on YouTube that is not a new genre whatsoever, that is the reaction video. Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be listening to the new Hugh song. Make sure you guys like the video, comment down below, big whoopee, and make sure that you subscribe to the channel, because a total of 4 of you are subscribed and we need to pop those numbers up. Let's get into it.
Pine grows pale skin. Your love made me feel again. Broken hearts in my jar. I'll always think of your.
Okay, despite that, I actually kind of like the reaction videos on YouTube. I think that it can be very interesting to hear a professional flute player's examination of a Jethro Tull song, for example, or if it truly is someone's first time listening to a song that you as a viewer love, it's sort of like that feeling that you wish that you had when you showed your friend a new song, except unlike your friend, they don't hate the song. But of course, reaction videos do have their problems, because the format sort of compels the video maker to be over the top enthusiastic about a song that in reality they might not actually like very much, but at least they're pretending to like it, unlike Zach. So I still think that it's hard to say about the impact of social media on music consumption, because again, it all comes down to your choice as someone who uses these. You can use YouTube as a great source to find music that you would have never heard of before, based on any algorithm or anything, by doing your own research. But if you're watching the TikTok dance videos, then... Okay, so now we're going to disc 2 of the video, and this is where things become a little bit more optimistic. We're going to a section that I call the promise of the future, and that is, if you think that music is as worse as it's ever been, which, trust me, I might still feel that way, even though I know that there is still good music out there. It is very possible that music is at its worst state than it has ever been. The idea that if history is any indicator, whatever's coming next is going to be really, really pleasant for us. Now you're saying, what are you even talking about? How can you even say that? Music is going to become even more derivative, because it only makes sense. Music will only become easier to make, only because da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Well, this is all that I'm saying. You might very well be right. However, let's look to the past. The overindulgence of prog rock in the 1970s. I love prog rock. There is also the overindulgence of prog rock. Again, this is a double video. You might think that this is overindulgent. It probably is. But that changed the musical landscape into punk rock. New wave. Some of the best music that's ever been made, as far as I'm concerned. Okay. So then, after that, you get the new wave, the punk rock, becoming more and more derivative, and then you get, in the 80s, you get that super slick glam rock that I know everyone's a big fan of. But that gave way into the 90s. Guess what you got? You got grunge. Don't really love grunge. You got noise rock, Sonic Youth. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Okay, I can make a video on Sonic Youth. I'll make a video on Sonic Youth in the future, but that isn't the point. The point is to say that everything in music that has happened, that has become overindulgent, there has been a reaction to it, and it has changed the musical landscape for the better for some people, for the worse for some people. Again, glam rock and that over-slick synth pop is very easy to consume, unlike noise rock. But again, there is that reaction to it, and I'm hoping and believing that there will be a reaction to this as well. But while we're in the process of hoping, let me introduce you to some of my favorite new music, my favorite new artists that have changed my mind that only music is bad. This is my favorite part of the video, because this is the part of the video where I could have helped myself in the past, and hopefully I can help some of you out there who felt the exact same way that I did. People that fell in love with the creativity of music from the 70s through the 90s, generally speaking, and cannot find it anywhere in today's music. I have some routes that you might like. I have some that you will probably not like, but here we go. Okay. I've also created a Spotify and a YouTube playlist with all the songs that I mentioned, along with some additional songs that would qualify as new music or newer music that I have in the description. Feel free to check it out. I really hope that you find something that you absolutely love that would make this video worth doing. Okay, so as I stated at the beginning of the video, I completely understand that different people listen to music completely differently. Like I say, every single person that I know has a completely different approach to listening to music and what they like in music and what they don't. I am only me, so I can only really tell you what I like. I can't tell you what you're going to like, but hopefully, if you like some of the same things that I do, I can point you in a direction that might show you one of your new favorite artists of all time, and I could not be happier to do something like that. Okay, so here we go. Singer-songwriters. This is a genre that it was immensely popular, particularly in the early 70s. You got the Warren Zevons, you got the Lou Reeds, you got the Leonard Cohens, you got the Tom Waits, the greatest artist of all time, but don't tell anyone that. I like melody, and I like clever lyrics. I like that a lot, and it's not necessarily easy to find in today's pop scene. Okay, so where do we go? We got one fella here, right here, bing. This is a fella from New York named Adam Green. So Adam Green is absolutely a songwriter in the sense that the number one focal point of all of his songs are the lyrics and the melodies. But that is hardly a definition for him at all. Anti-folk is a genre often associated with Adam Green, but even that can be a bit reductive. Anti-folk as a genre is essentially sarcastic folk music, music that is often written in a traditional folk style, often with very simple instrumentation, sometimes just an acoustic guitar. Think of early Bob Dylan, but is much more sarcastic and mocking in its nature. And this is absolutely a substantial part of Adam's music. Quite a lot of it is intentionally funny, witty, and even vulgar at some times. But he also has a very sentimental and playful and poetic side to him as well that I don't want to get discarded because he might be labeled under this anti-folk genre. His music is incredibly melodic, and the songs themselves are usually remarkably short. Adam Green can write one of the most whole and unquestionably fulfilling songs that is less than 2 minutes long, and he does it more often than not. Assuming, of course, this is an introduction to Adam Green, I highly recommend the song What's Her Face from Adam's 2022 record. It may be on the longer side for his music, but saying that, it hardly reaches 3 minutes, and it shows just about everything there is to Adam's music. The track has an incredibly strong melody and progression throughout the song, while the lyrics are equally undoubtedly sincere and sentimental, yet have an edge of comedy and absurdity to them. Next up, we have a man by the name of Andy Schauf. I hope that I am pronouncing that correctly. If you wanted to know what Paul Simon would have sounded like had he not have as much focus on rhythm in his music and much more of an appreciation for an overarching story, done a little bit better than the Cape Man, sorry about that, but it's true. Andy Schauf, Norm was his most recent album as of recording this video. That follows the story of a man named Norm, and I'm not going to spoil it for you, but he's not the most desirable character. Now, I compare him to Paul Simon just because I think that they have a very similar, comparable way of writing melodies, but Andy Schauf is very much his own thing. Now, I recommend the entirety of the album Norm simply because it is a story, there is a progression that goes throughout it. But if you were to only listen to one song, I would highly recommend the title track Norm. It gives you a very good sense of the way that Andy Schauf constructs a song, constructs a melody, and gives you a lot of the highlights of his songwriting and of his construction and chord progressions of a song. Going in a little bit of a tangential direction to that, I've always had an appreciation for a theatrical, a little bit over-the-top style of music. Meatloaf might be an extreme example of that, but maybe not. Here we have a man by the name of B.C. Camplight with his most recent album, The Last Rotation of Earth. Now, to be honest with you, I think this is an album with some very clear highlights. The whole album is not necessarily as consistent for me as I would want it to be, but that said, I think that the highlights are among the best songs written over the past 20 years. And for a recommendation, it really comes down to what you like. I think that The Last Rotation of Earth is a quintessential song in the fact that the melody, the chord progression, everything about it feels like it has existed forever. The movie is a very theatrical, very over-the-top song that with these little spoken word passages that get intercepted with one of the most unexpected blast of a melodic chorus that I think is an absolute treat. So pick one of those two songs I would recommend, or just listen to the whole album. But now we get to the singular artist that proved to me that there is such a thing as new good music. And there's a little bit of a story with this. Sorry. Again, concept video, double video. I get to be a little overindulgent. I apologize. Again, Tom Waits, for me, is the greatest individual musician, artist, whatever you want to call him, that has ever lived. I've believed that since I was 12. And I have yet to have my mind changed about that. So, Tom Waits is one of the few artists who has been always creative throughout his entire musical output, challenging the preconceptions of who he is as a songwriter, while producing some of the most wholly unique and captivating music of all time. For those of you who don't know, during the 80s, Tom Waits released one of the most acclaimed trilogies of albums of all time. And I won't go into too much detail here, as I don't want this to become a Tom Waits video, but essentially, these albums showcased a massive change in Waits' songwriting, showing him becoming ever more creative and off the wall with his arrangements, sonic structure, and lyrical content. And one of these styles that emerged from this trilogy of albums is primarily exemplified in the last of the 3 albums, and it is a style that would be known as dark cabaret. Now, as the name suggests, this is a highly theatrical and moody style of music. And I spent years trying to find something like this elsewhere. Something that has that Frank's Wild Years, that Rain Dogs, off-the-wall approach to writing songs, but that is melodically extremely captivating, lyrically extremely captivating. And fortunately for me, one of my good friends introduced me to one of the greatest modern musicians by the name of Will Wood. Now, in 2019, Will Wood released his album, The Normal Album, and to me, this sounds like an extremely logical progression from Tom's 80s work. The music is playful, it's over the top in the best possible sense, but the songwriting is absolutely top-notch. My favorite Will Wood song is actually one from his 2016 record, Selfish, titled The Song with 5 Names, but on the Normal Album, I would highly recommend Suburbia Overture. It starts as a satirical sort of doo-wop piece, then seamlessly dissolves, is the best way that I can say it. Not only is this song incredibly creative, but it is filled with distinct and timeless melodies and undoubtedly some of the most clever lyrics penned this decade. And I'll also say this, again for the 3rd time, everyone that I know, everyone that I talk to, has a wildly different approach to liking music. What they look for in music, what they like in music, what songs they like, completely, could not be more different from one another. Will Wood is the one constant, the one thing that we all agree is good. Will Wood is someone who never does the same thing twice, so all his albums are quite different to one another, but I would highly recommend the Normal Album. It may get a little over the top, and it may not be for everyone, but I honestly think that just about anyone could find at least one song here to thoroughly enjoy. Okay, so where do we go from here? Well, I'm going to throw you guys for a loop and talk about mainstream pop music that is incredibly successful, that I think needs more attention from those who think that all mainstream pop music is bad. That's right, we're doing a complete 360. 1975 is the band that we're talking about. Okay, what's the reason that we're talking about this? Sorry, what can I even say? I mean, Being Funny in a Foreign Language is my favorite album of since the year 2000, maybe? I don't know. But it's just, the songwriting, to me, is absolutely sensational. The melodies are sensational. The production, I don't love at all, to be completely honest with you. It sounds like a mainstream pop album, and I don't particularly love the way mainstream pop albums sound, but I can look over that for this record, and it's unbelievable to me. I mean, Part of the Band, fantastic song. Looking for Somebody to Love, not going to ruin the punchline of that song, which is the whole song, but just give a listen to it. I love this album. I love this band. They're not always at the top of their game as far as I'm concerned, but the fact that there was mainstream pop music out there that gets millions of plays that I overlooked, maybe it isn't that bad. Maybe it is that bad, and I just don't notice it, but I'm telling you, just give a listen to the 1975. I think they're absolutely fantastic, and Sophisti-Pop, yeah, we get it. But I mean, look at this guy on Rate Your Music. He says it sounds like Prefab Sprout, so that's as good of an argument that I needed, so there you have it. All new music is bad if you let it. If you let social media change the way that you consume music into those 5-second snippets, if your primary source of consuming music is through TikTok, then you might not have the most in-depth relationship with music that you enjoy. There's plenty of fantastic music out there. It just is unfortunate that sometimes it is completely up to us to have to go and find it. So I hope you enjoy the video, but more than that, I hope that this video has helped you in some way find new music that you absolutely love, and help me find some music that I need to love. Drop it in the comments.